How about Gen Z? How about that?
Welcome back to Easy Friday. I am Shiksha. Of course, that's DJ Cole Jackson. You'll be listening to him way more later on after I'm done with my hot seat guest tonight. I'm talking to Stephanie Cherono, who is a celebrity makeup artist. She is very, very well versed in the makeup industry. She's been doing this for quite some time.
Yes.
You do a lot of brides,
Yes.
and you know, doing a bride on their special day is like one of the biggest, most challenging. Like, it's quite the pressure that you feel, right?
It is.
But also it's very rewarding.
It is.
Because you get to see the smile and you get to see how happy they are.
You're part of the process.
Right? You
Yeah.
make them look like a queen. So we
Yeah.
love that for you. And just recently you've launched your makeup workbook.
Yes, I did.
So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us more about the workbook.
Okay, I think we were speaking about this earlier, that I was looking at it from a point of view that when we go to school, you get a syllabus, like you get like a book, like a guide. Like for math, you get a math textbook. For Swahili, the same. So since I'm starting training in January officially, then I wanted to have a workbook that guides the classes that we have.
Okay.
Therefore, so it's very intentional. You know what you're learning the next week, and everything is going to be covered from basics, which is skincare, to like brushes, tools, to your skin type, to foundation matching, techniques here and there, your eye
Right.
shape, lip shape, eyebrow shape, everything. It's quite detailed.
Yeah.
Yes, that was pretty dope.
Amazing. I mean, I'm just looking at your face right now. I'm not even like listening to what she's saying. I'm just concentrating on the art.
Thank
Like,
you.
if you could maybe go to her Instagram and zoom into her pictures of her eyes, and like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
work that goes into makeup.
There is.
And if you want to look good, you need to put in not just you know, the expensive products, but like
Yeah.
sometimes people believe to be a good makeup artist, you need to only use the most expensive of expensive products.
No, I think it's generally also the experience that you give people. I think over time I realized that there's so much more that we're putting into, even to the day, for instance, that you mentioned, like with brides.
Right.
You're pretty much in control of their moods from the minute they wake up to the minute they walk down the aisle. So however, whatever headspace you're in will determine the headspace that the bride will be in. So I feel like it's usually a huge responsibility that I've come to appreciate and I've come to love. So just building up to the day, affirming them, and on top of that there's artistry, obviously, and add-ons, because you always do more than you're being paid for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And what about like being in the celebrity styling, celebrity makeup artist space? So like, how has that been for you? Of late, you've been doing a lot of, you know, popular
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah, I mean, initially it wasn't intentional. It's one of those things that you fall into by accident, sorry. It's one of those things that you fall into by accident. And I think even my influencing came from that, just
Right.
working on a couple of well-known celebrities. And through that, I think it bridged the gap to content creation.
Right.
Yeah, which is now one of my sources of income as well, which obviously came from, you know, working with very influential people.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
You know, I actually started following you when you posted 14 days to
Oh,
Valentine's look.
14 looks for
14,
Valentine's
yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
And
we started that in 2020.
That's when I first started following you, because
Yeah.
I would just see you being shared all over my timeline, and everybody was like, wow, wow, wow. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's go and see what this is all about.
Even just championing challenges like that. I had
Yeah.
another one called Cut Crease Wednesday as well. So every Wednesday we create a creative look that has like a cut crease to do with the different colors, different palettes. And it's on random, like you choose them randomly. And I think that also helps with practice.
Right.
Because makeup is practice.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. So I introduced 14 looks for Valentine's also just to have a variety of looks that women can choose from for their Valentine's Day. Initially that was the purpose, but also it brought a lot of makeup artists together, and it helped them also practice their artistry. Yeah, so that was dope.
That's amazing. You know, we've spoken about how rewarding it is when you're a makeup artist, in the sense like when you do a bride's face, you're part of the process. You're part of making this woman feel like,
Good.
you know, good,
Yeah.
like she is the most beautiful person in the
Yeah.
world. But let's talk about the challenges. Maybe you can also take us through some of the challenges that you've personally experienced, you've gone through in this makeup journey that you're on.
Specifically when we talk about like brides, there's the aspect of time, because many weddings start quite early.
Yeah.
So like if you have big bridal parties, which is something now I've delegated to like another makeup artist, so that I get enough time to
Absolutely.
give to the bride. But that wasn't big. It was quite a big of an issue in the beginning, because you'd want to do many people. But now I think I'm leaning more towards quality than quantity. So I don't work on as big of teams as I used to.
Right.
Initially also when I was starting, just accumulating products and understanding what that looks like. But also, one of the pointers that I got initially when I was starting was getting products that cover each undertone. So that you can be able to mix and match.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is a one problem that many makeup artists struggle with, because coming up with the capital to invest in the business is quite a lot, because you expect to have everything in the beginning, but you have to
is so expensive.
You have to build it up. You have to build it up over time, so that you eventually get to a space where you can consistently put money back into your business. Marketing was also a big thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think I just fell into the right eyes and numbers grew over time.
Yeah.
But marketing yourself is also a big one, hence the website. That was also one of the things that I launched last week. And just to have that platform for the long run, because I don't know if you ever think about days when Instagram is not going to be there.
Yeah, I do.
All the time.
I'm like, you know, the day that Instagram just disappears, vanishes off the planet.
How are we going to make money? How
we'll
will
be
we
unemployed.
found?
A lot of us will be jobless for a while. Well, I, for one, I'm lucky because I'm here and I have this.
Yeah.
But also, you know, Instagram plays a huge role in empowering people and just giving them platforms to do what they love.
And showcase their art, most importantly.
100%.
So I just came with like just a backup strategy as well, to have a website to showcase that. And also have an inventory so I can keep track of every single client that I interact with, even just for like sharing newsletters and any product that may come up, because we're also planning to get into that in the coming year. Yes. So the website is ideally like a channel where everything will be easier for you, like a one-stop shop for everything to do with stuff and Cherono, from the artistry to the classes, to the content, and then training.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you got into content creation, and that was something that you started doing in 2020.
Yes,
and obviously,
during the pandemic.
Right?
Yeah.
And numbers have grown over the years. What has been the most rewarding experience when it comes to content creation? I know you work with a few brands.
Yeah.
You have been influencing for content creating for a few brands as well. So how's that been for you?
I think initially content creation was quite challenging, because you generally have to think outside the box for these brands. Yeah, you have to do, obviously it gets to a point where the idea of creating a video has to match up to something that would ideally be put on TV, for instance. So the theatrics have to be like quite the number. So I think it's challenged my creativity a lot. And just also chasing quality content as well, and really be willing to put in the budget for that, and ideally ask for more from the brand. Also just the inspiration that I think other women have been able to draw from me, who was in makeup and now has been able to transition into like working with brands and now getting into business. I think that's the best like feedback that you can ever receive. It's like when someone says, because of you, now I'm in a space where I can try ABCD. I think I like that as well. Also with influencing, I think I took a very different route this year, which was like sharing my spiritual journey, and that has gotten a lot of feedback as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I think just knowing that you sharing your story inspires someone, regardless of like what
you're going through.
And
it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I do know there was a time in your life when you were very low, you went through something that just really, you know, you didn't want to, obviously, like nobody would want to go through that. And then you shared everything that you went through, and you said that I'm out of that space, and you took some time off, and then you came back. And it was nice to see you actually encouraging others. That if you go through something similar, you're not alone. You know, get therapy, speak to XYZ. So that was very nice of you, and I think you were so real. And I really applaud you for that, because not many people will do that. Especially when they go through something that is just life-changing, right? In not the most positive way.
I think with influencing the space that has been created, we only show the good things.
We do.
By default, we just show the good things. And as difficult as it may be, I really thrive in vulnerability. I like sharing. I think some of my friends refer to me as an oversharer, but we're all oversharers in our group, so it feels safe. But I think how I looked at it was, I'm sure I've been put in certain spaces of influence so I can be able to share. Not just the good, but also the bad as well, and how we've been able to overcome that.
Absolutely.
And I think through that, a lot of people have gotten into therapy as well, which is healthy. It's a healthier way to deal with things, as opposed to like self-sabotage, for instance. So sharing goes a long way. I think I've seen that from my platform for sure. And the times that I've shared, I've never regretted sharing anything about the same.
That's amazing. And I'm glad that you feel that way, because so many times, you know, you are so close to sharing this event that has happened, and then all of a sudden, you
You
take a
hold
step
back.
back. You hold back because you're like, what will people think?
Or is it too much?
Is it too much?
Yeah.
Am I, being way too, am I oversharing?
And some would maybe think that you're doing it for clout as well.
Yeah.
Because
People do think that.
we've seen instances where people have used very sensitive moments in their lives to gain fame. But for as long as you're doing the right thing and it's coming from the right place, then you can never go wrong with that.
Yeah. Growing up, did you always have this artsy side to you? Because, some people who are makeup artists have always been so good at drawing and painting and like A students in art. So they kind of had that in them. What about you?
I was very much like a math student. Shout out to my mom, but she always said, like, you can't fail in anything, but don't fail in math.
I love that.
So we always...
That sounds like an Indian mom thing, for real.
Because math, you can give me B's in everything, but I want an A in math.
Mathematics A.
Yeah, exactly. So not at all. I was never artistic, really. I used to draw here and there, but I learned majority of my artistry through YouTube. Yeah, so I watched tutorials for like a year. I freelanced 2016, 2017, got employed at Mac.
Okay.
And then I did that for a year. Then 2018 I went freelance. And I've been
How
freelancing
interesting
since.
is it that you went like a full circle?
Exactly.
From being employed by them and then to like do makeup on other people to actually being an influencer stroke content creator and doing master classes for them.
Yes.
That must be a great feeling.
It's one of those things where you just like, God did that,
Right?
for sure. I think I take pride in also just giving them the credit that they deserve for championing my career and also just being part of the growth and seeing what it is like. Because I think with working at the store, it's more sales, but I'm chasing my experiences more. So I think once we're able to find the need and fix me in it, and masterclasses is the best way to do it because you give them people experience, they get to experience your personality as well and see makeup in a different way because you'll share personal stories within the masterclasses as well based on insecurities with blemishes and hyperpigmentation here and there. So it's a better process and I am just so glad that we're able to like take that journey together as well.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Like I always like feel so proud of people who've actually done like a full circle moment and have had that moment in their lives, and it's just very uplifting and you feel like that sense of fulfillment.
And also it's a huge source of inspiration as well.
Oh yes.
Because now if people have seen me and followed me from the Mac store and now see me working with Mac, then I think goes back to what I was saying, like it encourages you to think and know that this can possibly happen for me. Yeah.
We like that. Do you know, Stephanie, one thing that I think people really don't realize is that being a makeup artist is such a time-consuming job.
It is.
Like
it's very
people think
expensive.
that it's so much glam, the glitz and glam involved, and it just looks like a world of rainbows. But then when you go deep into it, that's when you realize that, wow, this is a lot of hard work.
And also we don't look like we do right now all the time. I think most times when we are glamming up people, we look homeless pretty much because the focus is on them more than it is on us. And it's time consuming also because we are standing for hours. And especially like with set days, it's like maybe 3 day shoots, doing a couple of people per day as well. Or big bridal parties, for instance, like I was talking about earlier, like maybe having like 9 to 12 bridesmaids. That's a full day. If a bride asks for touch-ups, that's another maybe 6 hours of touch-ups as well. So you're standing pretty much all day.
The entire
but
day.
It's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. If at all you have the passion for it, I don't think you'll ever get tired of the pursuit of that smile at the end of the day.
I love that.
Client,
I love that. So who are some of the international artists that you've worked with?
International? Let's see. Sorry. International. There's Maria, who's like an Angolan model, Maria Borges. She came here for a shoot once in 2020 or 2021. Locally, it's just Anita Nehru, Amina Abdi. A couple of influencers here and there. But I think my focus at the moment is to share my craft now, which is why I'm venturing into training.
And you said you're going to do that come next year? That's
Coming
what you're
next
going
year,
to be
January.
getting into fully 100%.
Yes. Hence the preparation that took place with the workbook and everything is because I also want to share with guidance. I also want to share with a structure and just leave something that people can be able to refer to once the classes are done, because
Yeah.
again, it's a practice. So you'll have to refer to the book ever so often to perfect your art.
You know, I like that you are doing something to kind of empower the younger generation, because I
Yeah.
feel like back in the day when makeup artists would be on the forefront and they're trying to, like, I guess, do something for themselves, they would usually not have many makeup artists to look up to, because I feel like the industry hadn't grown as much as it has now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there were only a handful of makeup artists.
And we all knew them.
And we knew them.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who were being, you know, looked up to. They were being employed. There was just not much competition. But now things have changed.
Yeah.
So do you think sometimes you feel like, wow, it's hard. This is a hard space to be in because there's so much competition.
There is, but also I think that's where also self-awareness comes in, because there's always going to be room for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that even with content creation, everyone is content creating right now. So will we stop creating content because everyone is a
Everyone's
content?
doing it. No.
It's the same thing with makeup artistry. The more the merrier, to be honest. I think it makes it easier, and you figure out your style, figure out what type of makeup artist suits you. And because of the number, then we're able to also create like a versatile of different makeup artists. Some will do special effects, and some will do bridal only. Some will do very nude glam, and they've perfected it as well. Some will do all. You know, I think thinking of it from like a scarcity point of view and assuming that just because there are more, then you will lack, then that also translates to your life, basically. So I look at it as I've been put in this position to create opportunities for them, regardless of whether I'm getting opportunities now.
Right.
Then my bold step will be able to inspire others to do the same. Hence the work, because I'm like, no one has done it before. It wasn't a route that I was planning to take this year, but that is where God took me, and that's where I ended up. So I'm sure this will not be the first workbook that will be released. I'm
Yeah.
sure it will probably champion other women to
actually do the same.
Yeah, in a different way. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And you should take pride in being the first Kenyan woman to do so.
I try.
Yeah?
I try, yeah.
Stephanie, you know, you said that you started in 2020. When did you start your makeup?
Officially?
Yeah.
2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's been a good 6 years, so 7 years now.
8 almost.
8 next year.
Yeah, yeah. I started doing it when I was 18. I'm 26 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically makeup is all that you know and all you've done since
Yes.
you were a teenager.
Exactly. Since when it comes to like making money, basically it's all I've known is makeup, and then now content.
Yeah.
But that came from makeup.
Makeup.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for you. And, you know, who do you look up to? Like we mentioned that back in the day, there were just a few makeup artists.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell me who have been some of your inspirations when it comes to like makeup, some of the people that you look up to, you'd love to do some sort of collaboration with in the industry.
Yeah, I think I've worked with a couple this year. There's Glam by Sly, there's Mokera. Mudhoni was a huge part of my career in the beginning.
Mokera is amazing with special effects.
Oh my God, tell me about
Yeah.
it. I could never, but if there's anyone who wants that, that would be the person I'd
Yeah,
recommend.
she's brilliant.
And also, you're looking at them from their work ethic. It's not just the artistry as well. I think
Yeah.
the makeup artists that are coming up have a different like urge to win and perfect and give a great experience to the clients. So there's always something to learn from anyone, to be honest. Everyone is doing things very differently this time. There's a lot of branding and a lot of like post client like care. So like the takeaway packages for like lip glosses and lipstick for touch-ups. So so many people that are doing very innovative things that you can learn from. But I've just mentioned but a few. There's so many. I can't mention all of them. But everyone is doing so well. And I was lucky enough to have a few of the makeup artists come to the launch to support, which was also very beautiful because it's rare that we find women coming together to
And
support each
supporting
other.
each other.
Yes. So I really, really appreciated that. And there's definitely going to be more collaborations with the same.
Love to hear that. It's always, I think, so empowering when women support each other, regardless of being in the same field, same space. But as you said, there's opportunities for all, and that's what we should always believe in, rather than looking at it as some sort of competition.
Because what is for you will always find you.
Yeah.
Always. The script is not going to change now just because someone else has joined the battle. No. What is for you will always find you. And I think because I believe that, I stopped scrapping for opportunities.
Okay.
Yes. I just wait. Even in the seasons of drought, you can just wait and you'll chill. And once something will come, you'll get the results why you waited. Which is why faith is such a huge part of my career now. Because you just have to believe that everything that is for you will come. We say to our friends, everything is working in my favor, blessings are flowing towards me, even when we're in the thick of things, because again, it's part of the story. I believe that God is trying to just make a very juicy story out of it. So you have to go through some bumps here and there, so that the story can be interesting.
You're such a positive person. Wow, I'm just sitting
We
here
try.
and I'm like, I could listen to her all day. She's just so positive. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Especially, I feel like when you are in this creative space, there's always these voices, right? And it's so hard to sometimes like get out of this mental funk that you're in, and self-sabotage is a part of that. So I'm so happy to see that, you know, it's always about manifesting, positivity, the energy, spirituality. It's beautiful.
It's a good like foundation for everything, especially during the pandemic. I think that's the one thing that I ended up learning, because we were not in control of anything.
Oh, 100%.
And where you're in the middle of like four walls, there's nothing you can do but be in your thoughts. So you might as well create a good space up there, so it's easier to like deal with.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love everything you're saying. Stephanie, what would you like to say as we wrap up to somebody who's watching, a young girl, or obviously these days I feel like we shouldn't be biased. There's a lot of male makeup artists, so a young girl or guy or just anybody who is interested in makeup and doesn't really know where to start. What would you tell them?
It's going to sound very cliche, but like start with what you have. I think what I was saying earlier was I had to get products within undertones, so like neutral, warm, and cool, and mix and match and figure that out before we had the opportunities to like have a versatile range of products.
Right.
Yeah, so just start with what you have, and don't be afraid to ask as well. I think there's been a lot of gatekeeping within the industry as I've like grown into it, but I think now things are opening up. People are becoming open and warmer towards like helping the other person. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask how to rate yourself as well, regardless of like how young you are in the space, because again, there's space for everyone. And never stop learning. Never stop learning. Don't think that you're ever good enough to not learn anything from someone, because there's always someone else taking a step ahead of you. And with that, you can come for my training classes in January.
Mic drop. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolutely loved hosting you.
Thank you so much
Just
for having
talking
me.
about, you know, your journey in this makeup industry and how you've been such a source of inspiration for so many young women, because you've just really pushed through and kind of, you know, I guess cancelled all the noise and just focused on your mission, which is your passion as well. Makeup. And here we are. We're going to be teaching more people next year, right? And just, I guess, pioneering this industry that I feel back in the day was not as fully, you know, grown as it is right now. And it's so nice to see that now we have a fully blown makeup industry in Kenya. It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. And that's it from me. I'll catch you next year. Until then, don't go too far, because Koljax is up next with Disco Funk. So make sure you sit right here for the vibes. Friday Fever is officially on. Good night from me, Shiksha, Arora, and Stephanie Cherono.